What if tomorrow, China launches a full-scale invasion of Taiwan? The ripple effects wouldn't just shake Asia, they'd jolt the entire world, from your smartphone's supply chain to Wall Street, from Silicon Valley's innovation labs to the oil prices you pay at the pump. Today, we break down what a Chinese invasion of Taiwan would mean, the possible scenarios, the immediate fallout, and the long-term global impact on tech, business, and geopolitics. Stick around, because this is not just theoretical. The stakes are already shaping how governments and companies act right now. Taiwan is a self-governing island, just 100 miles off China's coast. Beijing views it as a breakaway province and has never ruled out using force to bring it under Chinese control. Meanwhile, Taiwan sits at the heart of the global semiconductor industry, producing over 60% of the world's chips and more than 90% of the most advanced processors. That means your iPhone, your PlayStation, your car, even military systems, all depend on chips that come from Taiwan. Recent news, as of May 2025, shows that military tensions have escalated. Chinese naval and air force drills around Taiwan have intensified, while the US and its allies conduct joint exercises in the Pacific. Experts warn that a miscalculation could spark conflict at any time. Let's explore the first and most dramatic scenario, a full military invasion. If China invades, it faces massive logistical, political, and military risks. According to expert analysis, an amphibious assault on Taiwan would be one of the most complex military operations in modern history, potentially involving millions of troops, thousands of ships, and advanced cyber warfare tactics. But the real global shockwave would come from sanctions and supply chain collapse. The US, European Union, Japan, and others would likely impose massive sanctions on China, similar to or even bigger than the sanctions on Russia after the Ukraine invasion. Taiwanese semiconductor production could grind to a halt, either due to physical destruction or because companies shut down amid the conflict. That would trigger a global semiconductor shortage far worse than the 2021 chip crisis, which already cost the auto industry over $200 billion in lost revenues. Suddenly, prices for electronics would skyrocket, automakers would halt production, and even defense contractors would scramble to secure components. But what if China doesn't launch a full invasion and instead chooses to impose a blockade or uses what experts call gray zone tactics? These could include cyber attacks, economic pressure, or even cutting undersea internet cables. This subtler approach could sever Taiwan's access to global markets, disrupt shipping routes through the South China Sea, which carries about 1/3 of global trade, and trigger sharp volatility in global markets. Companies would be forced to rethink their exposure to China-Taiwan risks immediately. In fact, major firms like Apple, Nvidia, and Tesla have already started adopting China Plus One strategies, diversifying production to countries like Vietnam, India, or Mexico to reduce their dependency on China. A blockade would accelerate these shifts dramatically. Here's where things get even bigger. A China-Taiwan conflict would almost certainly pull in the United States under its Taiwan Relations Act, which commits Washington to help Taiwan defend itself. Japan, Australia, and NATO allies might be drawn in as well. Suddenly, we wouldn't just be talking about a regional conflict, but the potential for a global confrontation between nuclear-armed powers. Meanwhile, other actors like Russia could seize the moment to push further into Ukraine or Eastern Europe, and North Korea might escalate provocations. In short, this would mean global instability on a scale not seen in decades. For those interested in business and innovation, the biggest disruption would hit the semiconductor industry and global supply chains. A Taiwan invasion could destroy or severely disrupt TSMC, the world's most important chipmaker. It could collapse the just-in-time manufacturing systems that many industries rely on, and accelerate government efforts in the US and Europe to build domestic semiconductor capacity, trends already underway with initiatives like the US CHIPS Act and Europe's CHIPS Act. Investors, entrepreneurs, and innovators would have to rethink their China strategies practically overnight. So, where does all this leave us? While no one can predict exactly if or when China might invade Taiwan, the world is already bracing for the possibility. Governments are boosting defense budgets, companies are diversifying supply chains, and semiconductor independence has become a national security priority. For you, the viewer or listener, here's the big question to reflect on. Are we ready for a future where global innovation depends less on globalization and more on self-sufficiency? What does this mean for the future of tech, business, and the world order? If you found this analysis useful, subscribe to my YouTube channel, World Geopolitics Today, to get more information about what's going on nowadays in the world. Keep in touch with me so that you get my daily updates on global events shaping the future of tech, business, and innovation.